Back in the 17th century, there used to be a great Mughal king known as Maharaja Aurangzeb. Now, Aurangzeb, being a remarkable ruler of his dynasty, used to receive tremendous gifts from all across the empire. One such day, a foreign trader, brought to Aurangzeb a small gift, a lamp. Confused to see this, Aurangzeb exclaimed as to why the trader brought him such a small gift. To this, Aurangzeb, the trader, replied, "With the gift I present to you knowledge and ideas from my land. Similarly, today I shall bring to you an idea that is genuinely worth spreading." My name is Shah Mir Aizaz and I'm a Pakistani by birth. I'm a two-time winning competitor of annual conventions organized by NASA, and I spent the previous 2 years of my life trying to make a seemingly incredible idea somehow possible. Sometimes it has been difficult, really difficult, being rejected for your idea over and over again, but at the same time it has been highly motivating. I've got to be honest though, before giving this TEDx talk, I was a bit scared. Why? First of all, the idea may seem to be way too unachievable for average minds. But then, for innovators, this idea may hold a lot of potential. Secondly, the whole concept is based on pure mathematics, and math is something I'm pretty sure that most of us do not like. Before I carry on, I would like to talk about the technological advancements in the past century. Just a mere 50 years ago, a computer storage device used to look somewhat like this. Yep, this was just a 1 kilobyte storage device that had to be carried out in an aircraft and may weigh more than a ton. And today, this is a 32 gigabyte USB storage device. Now the next idea is not to make this USB device even smaller. It is to go a step further. The next idea is to make a space settlement. Yeah, that's even more incredible. And I'm pretty sure that your mind is being bombarded with questions like what, how, and when. And to be very honest, this picture is really an over-elaboration. It looks like it came straight out of Star Wars. But this is what we're going to do. In this talk, I'm going to be presenting to you how we're going to actually make this possible. How we are actually going to get out there and inhabit an asteroid. Now you might be asking as to why we're even leaving this planet. Why are we not staying here in the comfort zone? Why do we want to go out there and build something that is so scientifically very hard to build, and that's like something straight out of science fiction. But the reason as to why we're doing this is because of the human catastrophes caused here on the Earth. For example, tsunamis, earthquakes, and heat waves and droughts. And to nobody's surprise, all of this is because of global warming. Believe it or not, the Earth is becoming a place like a hot kettle, from where there is no escape for heat. Colonizing other worlds is no longer a desire, it is becoming a need to save our forthcoming generations from disasters. And in order to do that, we need to cross some limits. We need to do something that is highly phenomenal. Underwater settlements, they are a good option, but they're not going to be as cool as this. Imagine having a view like this from your window. That's going to be phenomenal. As quoted by the NASA Research Center, space colonies are permanent communities in orbit as opposed to living in the moon or other planets. The work of Princeton physicist Dr. O'Neill and others have shown that such colonies are technically feasible, although expensive. Settlers of the high frontiers are expected to live inside large, airtight, rotating structures, holding hundreds, thousands, or even millions of people, along with animals, plants, and single-cell organisms. There are many advantages to living in the orbit: environmental independence, plentiful solar energy, and terrific views, to name a few. There's plenty of room for everyone who wants to go. The materials from a single asteroid on Earth can build space colonies with living space equal to about 500 times to the surface area of the Earth. So this is something that is perfectly feasible. But how are we actually going to do this? Most of us, if not all, are aware of the terms such as asteroids. For those who are unaware of this, these are celestial bodies that orbit the sun like all other planets. And they're made up of solid minerals. Now, there are some asteroids that are at a relatively closer distance to the Earth as compared to other asteroids. And we term these asteroids as near-Earth asteroids, or NEAs. Now, the special thing about these asteroids is the fact that one of these asteroids is going to be the subject base for our settlement. But for that purpose, the asteroid should have the appropriate conditions. For example, the mass, the gravity, the inclination, and whatnot. As such, the researchers have found one asteroid that is named as 433 Eros. This asteroid is approximately 1.8 astronomical units from the Sun, and it also has the correct mass and inclination to host a human settlement. But how are we actually gonna build a settlement and drag an asteroid as big as half of Norway into the orbit of the Earth? In order to do that, we need to look over some scientific terms and phenomena, and I promise you that I'm gonna keep this as simple and as painless as I can. There are points. First of all, let's look at it this way. The asteroid is in the part of the space where it's in an unstable gravitational equilibrium. This means if you would go up there and build a home, that it will be a headache. The reason being that you'll be floating around in space. You won't be able to do anything at all. But luckily, scientists have come up with a certain phenomena which they term as the L points. Now, according to the L points, the gravity of the Sun and the gravity of the Earth, they equal out the gravitational force experienced by a third body. So what we know for sure is the fact that we're going to place this asteroid onto one of these points, which is termed as L5. And the reason why it is termed as L5, that is beyond the scope of this talk. Okay, but how exactly are we going to place that asteroid into the orbit onto the L5 point? Now that is going to require some very high-tech cosmic technology. So if you would take a machine that could propel charged particles at the speed of light just by using electromagnetic waves, you would term that machine as an electromagnetic accelerator. Now that word is a bit difficult to pronounce, but we don't care about that word at all. All we care about is the fact that we're going to get out there. And most of you must have heard about the nuclear explosions. Like all of you must have heard about nuclear explosions and the energy that is generated as a result of it. So what if you would harness all of that energy and combine with this machine that I just mentioned, you could actually propel a rocket at 3% the speed of light. That rocket is termed as a pulse thermonuclear rocket. But the 3% the speed of light, that doesn't seem much at all. But to be very honest, at that speed you could get from Flekke to New York in like 10 minutes. So after that, once we have placed the asteroid into the orbit of the Earth, we need to move on. We need to like, in order to live there, we need to have a certain gravity, like that as we have on Earth. Now here's the thing. The reason that we have gravity is in short because of the core of the Earth. The core of this planet is strong enough to have a gravitational field in order to sustain an atmosphere and help us like walk and sit and do whatever we usually do. But the fact is that the gravitational force on the asteroid is negligible. The reason being it doesn't have a sustainable core, or this core is extremely small. So how do we sort of increase the core of the asteroid? How are we going to do that? We're going to drill. We're going to drill to the center of the asteroid. We're going to drill to its core. And we're going to deposit heavier elements such as carbon, nickel, and iron over there. As we deposit heavier elements, the core is going to enlarge. The core is going to increase. The magnitude will increase. As such, the gravitational force of the asteroid will increase. This will help the colonists to survive on the asteroid, to maintain an atmosphere, and simply just to breathe and live on the asteroid. And after we've done that, after we've sustained an atmosphere, and after we have put the asteroid into the orbit of the Earth, what are we going to do? We're going to sort of build the asteroid to the further, build the settlement to the further extent. This is probably the machine I was talking about, but it looks extremely complicated. Yeah. So after that it's been formed, we're gonna mine through the asteroid and find various minerals such as iron and nickel and copper and etc. And they might be transported back to the Earth, or they might be used on the asteroid itself to build various institutions and various sectors. And we're gonna need power plants. Power plants just generate electricity and provide electricity and water to the colonists. But there's another problem. The problem being that the naked radiations of the sun, they cause humans to have cancer, and we don't want our colonists to die of cancer. So in order to prevent that, we're gonna need a layer of graphite on the surface of the asteroid. That is sort of going to prevent the harmful radiations of the sun from reaching the colony itself. After that, most of the job of the astrophysics is done. The asteroid has been placed into the Earth's orbit. The gravity has been sustained. The radiations have been avoided. So now our job is nearly done. The asteroid has almost been, the settlement has almost been designed. If you were thinking that the settlement might be like utopia, it might be the home of your dreams, it's not going to be like that at all. Your fantasies are totally different from science facts, because science facts is what defines the art of living. In a modern era where ideas like SpaceX and Blue Origin is turning into reality, this idea in itself holds a lot of potential. And if it becomes a reality, it's going to take Neil Armstrong's one small step to the next level. Thank you.